many people want to kick some ass? I do. Welcome to StillerBros at the movies, and today we're going to be seeing one of the most ass-kicking movies of 2019. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Alright, so Fast and Furious. We talked about this way back in the before times of 2016? 17, whatever. So yeah, we love the Fast and Furious movies, particularly the ones after Justin Lin took over and decided that these movies need to be self-aware.
And it really is kind of interesting to think how it took us so long to drink the Kool-Aid and join this franchise, because these movies kick all of the ass.
And it really is kind of amazing how it took them this long to come up with spin-offs. I mean, obviously, the main idea was every movie needs to ask a particular question, and in this particular case, it's how do you revitalize a franchise that is essentially on the upswing?
Yeah, especially a franchise that rebooted it, that halfway through its production, that halfway through its run, rebooted itself after basically rebooting itself twice with its first two sequels.
So, we've got Hobbs and Shaw, the first ever Fast and Furious spin-off, with more on the way. Chris Morgan is with
at least one more announced on the way.
Chris Morgan is running the whole show, the writer of all the good Fast and Furious movies.
Yes.
And movies. And who do we have to direct today's offering? David Leitch, the director of Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2.
Yes, and based solely on what we have seen from the trailers, it looks exactly like one of the guys who directed John Wick directing a Fast and Furious movie.
Essentially, it's funny that how fast David Leitch works. I'm pretty sure that he's an in-demand Hollywood director now, just simply because he works fast and he can make movies that make big action movies out of small budgets. Yeah. Because this is his third movie in at least 3 years.
Yeah, Atomic Blonde, he was 10 months between that and Deadpool 2. This time around, he's had a little bit more time, but not a lot more time. But not by that much, because it's been about 15 months.
Yeah. So David Leitch, the fact that he can pull this off, because most directors, especially when they make big action movies like this, they take like a year to actually develop the idea before they run into production.
Yeah. So with all of that, we kind of have to wonder what exactly this kind of Fast and Furious movie is going to be, because we don't have Vin Diesel growling firmly. Instead, we have Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham.
Now, the fun thing is that Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, these characters have always just been Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. Yeah. I mean, Hobbs is basically the epitome of a Dwayne Johnson character. In fact, I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I figured out the perfect code to making a Dwayne Johnson movie. Essentially, you cast Dwayne Johnson as this all-American cop, football player, soldier, what have you, and you stick him in a really big action-heavy situation, and basically the only reason that there are any other characters in the movie is to react to how awesome and inhumanly perfect he is.
Yes. Jason Statham, on the other hand, is basically a kind of action thriller, basically kind of the freaking badass British guy who can kick all of the ass and to still look like he's fit and still basically be a 50-year-old badass.
Basically, Jason Statham and because he's British, he has a little bit of suaveness to him, which is why there even was, for a time, a little group on the internet who wanted to see him take on the role of Bond, which I could probably see it, but it's probably never going to happen. But it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's really not possible. And then speaking of Bond, they are going up against Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is a really, really well-versed actor. The Wire and all these great other roles. Recently getting off of Heimdall in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He is the kind of actor that if he took himself half as seriously as his craft would suggest he should, he probably wouldn't do half the roles he is known for.
I mean, he's right up there with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, everybody is saying, and it looks like Idris Elba knows exactly what kind of movie he is in. And that kind of movie is dumb, fun action.
And you have to know what you're getting into when you sign on to a Fast and Furious movie.
These movies, as we have pointed out multiple times in our last review and in this, and more than likely in this review, they're big dumb cartoons.
Yeah.
They're just live action cartoons that they put B and A-list actors in to make you believe that these are really big. And there's actually a formula to this. I read an interview with Chris Morgan this morning, and he's saying that they know that they break the laws of physics, but they have a limit.
Yeah. And obviously, these movies are just story-wise, they're very dull. They could be, if it wasn't for the action, they'd be very dull and very not good at all. But the way they do it is so fun and so much enthusiasm from everybody involved that there's just so much that we can see. And it's pretty awesome that there's a very good possibility that Fast 9 and Fast 10, which are coming out back-to-back starting next year, could end up seeing us go to space. I mean, right now we have cyborgs in this one.
We just added cyborgs for no goddamn reason other than they needed someone for Dwayne Johnson to conceivably punch and get back up again.
Yeah, so these movies are going batshit insane, and it is amazing to watch.
These movies are better G.I. Joe movies than the G.I. Joe movies than the actual G.I. Joe movie that The Rock made a few years back.
They're also better Point Break movies. Some of them are also better Point Break movies than the actual Point Break remake, but we're not going to talk about that.
But yeah, and the Fast and the Furious, and once again, I am so sorry to anyone, absolutely anyone who actually tries to take these movies seriously and does not find enjoyment in this. I'm sorry that you don't see it that way, because these movies are because once these movies realize that nobody cares about real world physics or about real world logic or about anything other than Vin Diesel grumbling through a 2-hour movie going, I don't got friends, I got family.
Excuse me, I'm going to drink these Coronas.
Now, then, I'm sorry, it's...
Watch Patrick Williams' video on the subject.
Because he explains it a lot better in his entire movie, in that entire video, than we could in this video, because we don't have... because he actually has notes, and a script, and research, and a film degree, and all that kind of stuff.
And his parents to sit there and listen to all of it.
And we do all that kind of stuff that we don't have, because we're sitting in a car, driving to the movies on a lightly edited video.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But basically, we love these movies. We've loved them since we went and saw the 6th one because we could, on a whim.
And because it was for a whim, because it was free.
Yeah.
But
we've loved them since then. We saw Furious 7, we fucking cried.
We saw Fate of the Furious twice in theaters.
And now we're going to go see this, and then we're going to go see 9 and 10, and then we're going to see any other spin-offs they can throw out, because 9 and 10 are apparently going to be the end of the main part of the franchise.
So, yeah. Hobbs and Shaw is good. We are excited for how insane this is. A truck attaches to another truck, which is then attached to a helicopter. I need this movie.
Yes.
So... let's go in with very, very, very open minds. More open minds than the people who think that the Fast and Furious movies are the epitome of what is wrong with blockbusters today, which, I'm sorry, but you are unequivocally wrong.
So, we'll be back in a little bit right after the jump. Alright, we are out.
So, that movie was awesome.
Yeah. That was awesome. Stay through all the credits.
All of it, because...
There's some really good stuff.
Like, let's just get started on this. This movie is crammed with cameos. Like, people you would not expect to be in this movie are in this movie. Yes, we already know Helen Mirren is in here, but specifically the people who are there to recruit Hobbs and Shaw for their cases.
And then one other cameo that we're not going to spoil at all.
These are just great. It seems like Dwayne Johnson, David Leitch, maybe even Jason Statham, they just kind of opened up their Rolodexes and were like, call this guy. And they did. And it's great. And it's great to see, be surprised in a movie that these guys are just in there.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be in any future installments. That's gonna be, because that would be awesome.
Yeah. But ultimately, it was a fun time. So let's go into it a little deeper now, quick. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. We knew from Fate of the Furious that these two had some pretty great chemistry. They can work off each other really well. A lot of quippy one-liners, dick measuring, some almost literal dick measuring. Like, I swear to God, we were just maybe like another 15 minutes of this movie away from them just pulling out a tape measure and measuring their dicks.
And the fact that these two are basically busting. We go into the credits and they're still busting each other's balls.
Yeah.
That's just how much this movie is built on these two, and the fact that they have such great chemistry, as both friends and ends and just humor. It's fun. It's awesome.
David Leitch, of course, kills it because he's David Leitch. This is his fourth movie he's ever directed, third credited, and he's just freaking awesome at it. And he's proved time and time again that he is awesome at it.
I mean, Deadpool 2 pretty much showed that he can not only direct action but comedy. So basically, that was all just kind of a warm up for this, because essentially a lot of the stuff they do with this is a lot bigger than Deadpool 2 was for him.
Vanessa Kirby as
Hattie.
Jason Statham's character's sister, does a pretty good job of, even though she's basically this is basically the plot to Mission Impossible 2, so if you know that, you know exactly what her character is.
Yeah, basically, but when it goes into it, she's a fun third to the team. She's shown to be somewhat capable, but in the end, she turns out to just be the football that they pack in the final act, which is a hell of a finale.
Yes.
I mean, there are times in this movie where they pull out fireworks for no real reason, just because they can, and it looks like a theme park show, like a theme park stunt show, and that is kind of awesome.
Yes. Idris Elba as Brixton. We get some cool shit out of him.
Remember when this movie was about stealing DVD players?
Now we got cyborgs. We got motherfucking cyborgs.
And the fact that the way this movie ends implies that they are going to go back to the cyborgs. And it's awesome.
We got some sort of cybernetic Illuminati shit going on now. And it's like, this used to just be Point Break with cars.
This used to be about Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez stealing DVD players, and now suddenly we got The Rock and now suddenly we're supposed to believe that in the same universe, The Rock and Jason Statham have to beat up cyborgs, and there's an evil organization that wants to turn the entire world into cyborgs. I am in.
Yes.
Sign me up for this entire franchise.
Yeah, we got this entire leg of the franchise. Like, we got to the climax. I was like, I want to see the next one of these now.
Especially since they leave so many plot threads open. If this movie fails at the box office, then we are going to lose exactly what happens. Or maybe that's what they're doing with, or maybe they're going to do something with Fast 9. Maybe they'll finish up the plot. They'll finally tie up those plot threads in Fast 10. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it, but then again, we could be wrong. But anyway, these movies have now hit the singularity of batshit insane.
It's basically they decided space is inevitable now. Space is inevitable in this franchise now. It used to be, space was that was a joke that people have been saying for years ever since these movies became self-aware, where it's like, well, eventually they gotta shoot Vin Diesel into space and have him just drive a car in space, and basically there won't be one scene where he's loading up the charger, and they're like, Dom, you can't breathe in space, you need oxygen, and he's just like, I don't need oxygen when I got family. But it's inevitable now. There's no way to go bigger than cyborg super soldiers.
It is huge. It is amazing where this franchise went from just 20 years ago, that car franchise that people seemed to like.
And now, God, this movie is fun. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense, but it's fun. There's a massive helicopter crash where literally nobody dies. I don't even think anyone gets a scratch on them in that thing.
Vin Diesel, we got Jason Statham fighting a bunch of assassins off with a toaster.
It's so insane. A man gets stabbed with a brick.
That is an actual thing.
That is a thing in this movie.
And Chris Morgan, I don't want to see what's inside your head, because you got some batshit insane stuff going on in there, and I want in.
And the needle drop moments from this one are just, it's like the first few. Like every single Fast and Furious movie, where occasionally a scene needs to make it clear that this is going to be their big suiting up badass moment, so they put on a huge rap song. But these are fun little ones. Like, this is the second David Leitch movie in a row to open with a version of Jim Croce's "Time in a Bottle."
Yeah.
The second one in a row, and I thought that was kind of hilarious now that this is suddenly just becoming a motif of his.
Yeah. We haven't seen A Time of Blood, so we don't know if that opened a Time in a Bottle too.
It would be anachronistic.
There's a lot of things that would be anachronistic about Istic, but then again, that's kind of David Leitch's style now, isn't it?
Anyway, yeah, this movie is fun. It's amazingly off the rails. It's a big cartoon, and that's what everybody was saying, and that's why everybody loves it.
That's why Dwayne Johnson is the highest paid movie star on the planet right now. And you look at where he came from, and he fucking deserves it.
This is the reason why he's basically the 21st century equivalent to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Except where with Schwarzenegger they needed to keep rewriting his movies to justify the fact that a blue-collar all-American dude had a thick Austrian accent. Here it's just, hey, look, The Rock. Now it's just...
We're more willing to accept a big half Samoan, half black guy with all muscle bound being the intelligent guy in the room.
This movie is the movie is off the walls crazy, and I love every second of it. It's the heck of it. There were moments where I wasn't quite edging my seat because it's a Fast and Furious movie. No one is they're not gonna do anything you aren't expecting, but but it was close.
Yeah.
Things got nuts really quick, and I'm gonna be honest. The hard stuff, the stuff that's basically like, we need to actually remind. Oh wait, this is a Fast and Furious movie. We need to remember to put family into this somehow. So, to be honest, that stuff kind of got me a little bit because it's just like because the whole thing is we care about these characters because we've grown to care about these characters throughout this movie because it's basically the Marvel formula of what makes you like a character as much as you do. Humor.
And who are these people they want, and heart. Those are the two main things you want out of a character, and that's humor and heart. And when they can hit you in the heart, and they can hit you and they can give you a belly laugh, that's it.
There's so much good humor in this movie that it's just so great every single time. Every one-liner from Hobbs and Shaw as they're basically just ribbing each other the whole way. It's just great to see them these two guys play off each other. Statham and Johnson are so good in this, every character is just playing a great role in this, and it's awesome. These are the parts that really pull this movie together are not the big action scenes, but which are good no matter what. But it's definitely the parts where the characters are sitting around, busting balls, doing all kinds of things. Like Mike Oxmall is like one of the tamer ball busting moments from these two.
Yeah, and it's just those two talking is just one of the best parts of this movie, where they're just hanging out, they're just talking, they're joking around, and it's more than likely probably just the two of them trying to make each other laugh.
And yeah, it's good. The movie is great. It's not. Look, I'm not going to say that the movie is fantastic and that it makes the other Fast and Furious movies look like crap, because it's still basically a movie that they made. It's basically a bad movie they made bad on purpose, because it's like there's no laws of physics. People get into horrible accidents and just walk away from it, and away from it, and people are just and sometimes they just they create rules just to break them in the end.
And also, this kind of feels like a different thing, like its own thing. Like it's not like a Fast and Furious movie.
I think it's mostly the presence of the cyborgs that makes it a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been airing the other Fast and Furious movies on the Sci-Fi Channel over the course of the last week, and this is the only one that that I could believably see being on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
It's not even, and in fact, this could be a Sci-Fi movie of the week if Sci-Fi actually had the money to, wreck and modify cars.
Yeah, which we don't get a lot of this time around because it's not really a car movie this time. It is a Hobbs and Shaw buddy movie.
So it's not a so that's why this is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw and not Fast and Furious 9.
Minus Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez and all those guys. But anyway, that's what we got to say about that.
Movie's awesome. If you love the Fast and Furious movies, go see it. If you don't love it, then yeah, I guess we're going to avoid it anyway, so avoid it. Even though I feel very sorry for your inability to feel joy at stupid, over-the-top action movies that are awesome.
Yes. So that's it for this time, guys. Until next...
We're gonna take a little while before we come back.
Yeah.
At least that's the plan. We don't know what's gonna happen because there's a couple movies coming out that we don't know what we're gonna think of. But for right now, the plan is that we won't see you for at least almost a month or so.
Yeah.
Because when we come back, we're not gonna kill you. We're just gonna hurt you really, really bad. Bye.
Bye.